Hi guys, we're going to practice a little more today with measuring weight and using things to practice measuring weight. Now, this week we are using customary units to measure weight. We've talked about in science, and Ms. Brian reviewed with you on Monday, that we can also measure mass, which is measured in grams and that kilograms and things like that. But we're using customary units to measure weight, and weight is the measurement of the gravitational pull on an object. Customary units that we use for that are ounces, pounds, and tons. So just to review, an ounce we know is kind of a good benchmark for that is a piece of bread. So right here I've got like a little bagel, a thin bagel, that's about an ounce, all right? We also know that a pound is equivalent to kind of like the weight of a can of beans, or I can think of pounds as a loaf of bread. So over here I've got a loaf of bread that I can estimate is about a pound. I know what that feels like. I also have tons, which we know are a lot. Tons are 2,000 pounds. I can think about a polar bear or even a car to kind of a small compact car to think about a ton. That's 2,000 pounds. I've got this fun little book I want to show you too that kind of talks about measurement with candy. So this is a book. You could probably look it up on YouTube. Weights and measures. We'll kind of look at it a little bit over the next couple of weeks, but here they say an ounce is equivalent to a little piece of chocolate from a Hershey's chocolate bar, okay, or 2 pieces exactly. So there's that little image there. A pound would be equivalent to like a bag of Twizzlers. So that's 1 pound, and there's 16 ounces in a pound. That's something important to know. 16 ounces in a pound. And then last, a ton is 2,000 pounds. Here the clown is sitting on Twizzlers nibs, which look like little pieces of Twizzlers. So that's a huge pile. 2,000 pounds makes that. So what we're going to do today is we're going to make a balance kind of like these guys, okay? So we're going to make a balance together, and it's going to be something that you can do with your family. I'm going to show you how, and then I'll give directions also on Google Classroom so that you and your family can make one. Now, the reason I'm saying you and your family is you're going to use some materials that your family needs to say, okay, yes, you can use this, and they need to help you, all right? The things you're going to need are a hanger, and so I brought a couple of different types of hangers downstairs that we'll talk about that are good for this project. You're going to need plastic cups or paper plates. Those are my 2 ways that I made it, but I'm going to give you some other ideas too. You need some type of string or yarn or thread, okay? So you can use ribbon. I'm using curling ribbon from like Gifts, and so that's what I chose to use today. I also grabbed some tape. Okay, I don't want your help. And scissors, okay? So the reason we need to make sure that we're having a grown-up help us is when I was doing this and I was kind of rushing and not being very careful, cut my fingers. So you need to make sure that you are having an adult help you, all right? Do not do this on your own. I'm telling everyone right now, we want you doing this with a grown-up. Got it? Okay. So let's get started. The first thing you're going to do is you need to select a hanger. And I brought different ones down because I want to show you different things that hangers have that can kind of be helpful in your balance today. So one type of hanger that works good is this plastic one. And so I like this one because it has these little hooks here that will be great to put our string on when we're making our balance. So this is a good one. This plastic one too, it has the little nooks here that help. You can put the string in there and it'll hold it in place. That's good. This one, it could also work because it has little grooves, maybe not as much, but it is kind of sticky and soft, so it'll be able to hold it in place. If you have a hanger that is plastic but does not have hooks on it, it's going to be really hard to use. So you want to find one that has hooks on it or little grooves that you'll be able to use to keep your scale in place. The one I want to use the best though today is this one because it has the grooves, and then also the neck of it can rotate and move. And I like that because it'll just be easier when I'm hanging stuff. I'm hanging my scale, I can rotate this to put it wherever I want, okay? So whatever hanger you want to use, you can decide. Then you're going to get your plates or your plastic cups, and I'm showing you both ways because you can measure lots of different things, okay? So starting with the plastic cups, what I did is I carefully, but not that carefully because I cut myself, I poked holes in it, okay? So that would be a job for mom or dad or a grown-up. I tied the ribbons through the holes on both sides, try to make them equal and even so they're opposite each other. And I did it on 2 plastic cups. I cut my ribbon so that it's the same length on both cups. And what I'm going to do is just place it in the hanger here and place it over here. And then it's going to be dangling down. Now I can try different things to put it in here to compare their weights. So like right here, I've got a can of soup. You're going to want to raid your kitchen and kind of find some different things. I have a can of soup, and then I have this little seasoning cream of tartar baking supply. And what's really cool about this, guys, is that as you start looking around in your kitchen or in your house, many things that you have a little weight label on it. So down here it says net WT, that means net weight, and it says 1.5 ounces or 1.5 ounces, and that's right here. This can of soup has a label on it also. It says net weight 10.5 ounces down here. So I can put them in my little scale, okay? And then when I hold it up, I can see this is going to drop down and be heavier if it'll fit in there. Let's see. Now when I'm measuring it, I'm going to want to put this and hang it somewhere that it'll work easily, or maybe you can have someone strong in your family kind of place it on their arm and be a measurer like that, all right? Now, the thing with plastic cups is they're kind of small. It's hard to measure things with them. So that's why we can also do this version of the scale with a paper plate. I just have mini paper plates at home, but you can use whatever you want. I even really think that large paper plates would be best. I also think you could do this with maybe if you have a cardboard box at home, cut it up and cut it into equal pieces of cardboard to make your bottoms, okay? So what I did here is I just taped on the back and on the sides the plates to the strings, and then I can measure some things, okay? So here I'm gonna look at, I would think of taco seasoning, and it says its net weight is 1.25 ounces. I can place it on the plate. And here I've got a thing of pasta, and it says its net weight is 6 ounces. I can place it on the plate. And then when I hold them up or place it somewhere, it's a little hard to do by yourself, but you'll be able to see that you can measure it, okay? So things to remember. Units that we want to keep in mind. A loaf of bread is about a pound. It's a good thing of a pound. It says on here 1 pound and 4.5 ounces. So it's actually a little bit over, but I've had some pieces of bread out of it. So it's probably very equal to a pound now. And then our slice of bread is about an ounce. Okay, so go ahead, try this out at home, make some measurements. You can use whatever you want to measure and check the weights out. Find some things that are labeled, find some things that are not labeled. Maybe you want to use little pieces of candy or jelly beans to measure. Maybe you want to get the weight of some Legos, okay? Try to find some different things out at home, and I hope you have fun measuring weight.